In potential day-to-day human interactions in our city or in any city, there are perceived barriers such that making a personal connection can sometimes seem elusive. Hey, how about them Grizz? Did you see the game last night? That was terrific. Great t-shirt, first team all defense. Facilitating those personal connections is just one way that a sports franchise brings social value to a city. That social value should be measured. My goal today is to suggest one potential way to measure that social value and to raise the idea that it has economic impact as well. I'll talk a lot about connection, connectivity, connectedness in conjunction with measuring social value. But before I explain why, easier to provide an example. This summer's connective thread was Marc Gasol's free agency. It came up in 100% of the conversations that I had from the end of the season through Marc signing. So, in anticipation of that this summer, the team wanted to do something that acknowledges the special bond and connection that Memphians feel with Marc. So we worked with filmmaker Craig Brewer to create a short film that celebrated that sense of connection. As you watch the film, please note the layers of social connectivity, from the ordinary, at the grocery store, at the lunch counter, at work, at school, to the communal, our social mores and our shared spaces, to the civic, our music and culture, our history, and the city itself.
Who's your favorite Memphis Grizzly?
Marc Gasol,
And what country is Marc from?
Memphis.
Oh, this song to wrap around. That was beautiful. The best hitter in the game.
You talking about Marc?
Do you believe Memphis?
Where he's from?
Big Spain.
Man, he's from right here.
Marc Gasol is in the building.
Barcelona born,
A bit of Spanish magic. Oh my!
Memphis made, man. It's like this here. When you connect with Memphis, we feel like you're a part of the family.
It's all hard.
The town love Marc Gasol, man. Marc Gasol is M-Town, baby. Love.
Memphis is his home, man. What's funny is that a lot of people don't know he grew up listening to 3 6 Mafia and Project Pat. A lot of people don't know that, you know.
Marc is Memphis. Marc goes to work, he grits, he grinds. He comes off the floor, Southern hospitality.
You telling me he's not from Memphis? Dude played his ball at Lausanne, right here in the Bluff City. Marc is totally from Memphis.
Think about the guys that have spent their entire careers with one franchise. I mean, Marc could be one of those guys for us. Jersey and the Raptors, MVP. He already got Defensive Player of the Year.
He's not afraid to get in the mud and get dirty, dive on the floor, get those floor burns on his elbows, right? And check this out, he gonna lead championship parades all the way up and down Beale Street.
He wants to make everybody better. I know he makes me better, and we're thankful for having him here.
I want to climb him. It might take a while, but I'm gonna get to the top.
Marc es de Barcelona.
Big Spain!
Big Spain.
You don't have to be born in Memphis to be from Memphis. Elvis wasn't born in Memphis. Who's gonna tell me Elvis is not from Memphis? Marc is from Memphis.
He's smooth with it, like he's elegant. He's got the moves, he got the hands, he got the no-look assist.
Hey, you know that movie does behind his back? I saw that back in the day when he played AAU ball in high school.
Ben shot three-pointer at the ball for the tie. Breaks it in. Oh my goodness.
He got that old school two-handed power dunk.
Viva la Spain.
Where's Marc from?
Memphis.
Number 33 is right here in my heart. I love Marc Gasol.
Man, he's Memphis to the bone, man. I'm telling you.
The best hitter in the game.
So the underlying themes of that film, social connectivity, relating to your community, to your city, to civically and to each other, that forms the backdrop of how we measure the social value of a sports franchise. And those ideas come from the realm of urbanism. So prior to working for the Grizzlies, I spent about 2 decades working in city center revitalization and to build the urban core in Memphis. Like anybody in that area, I spent a lot of time reading and studying about what makes for urban happiness and a good quality of life. Interestingly, arts and culture comes up in 100% of the time as being a part of what makes for a good quality of life. And professional sports almost never comes up. Yet, when you look around the world at all well-regarded cities, they universally have arts, culture, and professional sports. Despite the fact that sports tends to be overlooked, there's a lot of concepts from urban happiness that we can adapt and adopt as we've tried to determine how to measure the social value of a sports team. So 2 leading studies on urban happiness start to lay out the key factors. There are the tangible elements, those that relate to the built environment with respect to urban happiness, and there are the intangible environments, those that relate to how we connect with each other and how we connect with the city itself. Those core intangible concepts can be synthesized as social connectivity. So my theory is that you can measure the social value of a sports franchise by indexing the social connectivity that a sports team generates in its city. So the social connectivity index is based on underlying factors of what makes connection powerful, valuable, and measurable. So we see it as a function of access, relatability, and diversification. We'll use the Grizzlies as a way to dig into those factors. The first factor of access is essentially visibility and affordability. Visibility is all the different ways that someone in a city can interact with a sports team. For example, all Grizzlies games are on TV, we're on the radio, we have a huge social media presence and a significant digital platform. We're in the paper almost every day, sports talk radio, blogs, message boards, kind of hard to avoid us. Affordability just means the ability to get in the door sometimes and actually see a game in person. And perennially, the Grizzlies have one of the most affordable ticket prices in professional sports. So pretty much anyone who wants to have access to the Grizzlies in the city of Memphis can figure out a way to have access. The second factor of relatability, the team, the players, the atmosphere in the arena, winning. All of that goes into how a team's identity serves as a touchstone for creating connection. There's formal ways to measure relatability, brand amplification studies, brand index surveys, but sometimes an anecdote can serve a little bit better. We have a mayoral election coming up here in October, and recently the newspaper did the big Sunday profile of the leading candidates. Like in most profiles these days, there's like a little information box with a couple of summary factors for the folks who didn't want to dig into the full thing. So the first 4 factors that were listed for each candidate in the summary box were age, education, family, and work. The 5th factor, which Grizzly would you like to be and why? So in order for a political candidate to relate to the citizens of Memphis, they first have to explain which Grizzlies players they relate to most. The final factor of diversification is really a function of how broad a cross-section of the city that your team relates to. In other words, how diversified is a team's people portfolio? From Scarborough Research, we pulled a couple of key demographic figures for Memphis. In terms of the racial composition of the Grizzlies fan base, it's almost a 1-to-1 mirror with the racial composition of the Memphis metropolitan area. And in terms of household income, Grizzlies fan base is spread almost equally across all 5 household income quintiles. There's obviously lots of other demographic factors that matter: age, gender, occupation, etc. And all of those should be delved into, and we do, because it's fairly self-evident why diversification would be important to creating social connectivity. So once the factors have been measured and the social connectivity index function score has been delivered, you could assign an economic value per index point, and that could create the economic impact and measure the economic impact of a sports team on its city. This is just one hypothetical way to go about measuring the value of a sports franchise, social value of a sports franchise to its city. There's teams that would score well, there's teams that wouldn't score well. It's meant to be an evaluation concept and a valuation concept, and not a blanket affirmation that all sports teams bring significant value. Further, as you start to transform it into an economic analysis, you need to bring in factors like how many sports teams are in a particular marketplace. Is that a function of the size and wealth of the marketplace, or something simply like how popular is the underlying sport itself? So there's obviously a lot of open questions. The important thing is acknowledging the need for measurement and the ability to value it. So we opened with a video that was orchestrated from the outset to demonstrate all the different levels of connection the city feels to its team. We'll close with a fan video that was taken after a recent playoff win that shows the kind of spontaneous social connectivity that a sports franchise can generate. How do you measure the social connectivity of seemingly the entire city breaking out into an impromptu line dance? What's the social value of that? What's its economic impact to a city? It's undisputed that arts and culture bring social value to a city. It's also unequivocal that a sports team can bring social value to a city. The challenge is figuring out how to measure it and how to value it. Thank you.